start now. Stu and I will see you back here for Post-Game Live later on.
We have finally reached the month of August here at the Coliseum. Fans are grilling out, getting ready for the first of three against the Los Angeles Dodgers here in Oakland. Hi again, everybody. Alongside my broadcast partner, Dallas Braden, I'm Chris Carey. And, well, Dallas, there's no way around it. This Los Angeles Dodgers club is one of the best in Major League Baseball.
A ton of talent, Chris. It really starts at the top of the lineup, but you can go all the way to the bottom of the lineup. And when healthy, let's remember, this is a three-headed monster, a three-headed MVP monster. And what did the Dodgers go and do at the deadline? Well, they created even more depth and potentially one of the game's deepest rosters already. You've got guys like Will Smith, who were able to put this team on their back at times, but really it's what Shohei Ohtani has been able to do when in this lineup. Leads the National League in long balls. You take a look at that OPS. What this dude does, Chris, I think it has to get you excited about watching baseball because it might be something you've never seen done before.
Well, Shohei Ohtani is not the only one to make the fans excited. On the A's side, Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, and the rest of the A's had a July to remember.
They were barbecuing in the month of barbecues. July was hot, and it was hotter for the Oakland Athletics. And you said it. What Brent Rooker and Lawrence Butler were able to do is put this team on their backs collectively. The 45 long balls, most in Major League Baseball. It's the first winning month since, that's right, July of 2022. They finished with the third best record in baseball behind just the Diamondbacks and the Mets. And that 45, that plus 45 run differential, second best in baseball. And how does that happen? Scoring runs and keeping the opponent off the scoreboard.
Well, the A's were hot in July. How about keeping that heat going in August? The A's are facing off against the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani on a beautiful Friday night in the Bay. Lineups and first pitch coming up next.
Toyota, class-leading MPG, and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places. And by Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Full service, total trust.
It's a comfortable Friday night in the Bay. The Dodgers against the A's just set to go here at the Coliseum in Oakland, California. We have an interleague matchup here. A pair of West Coast teams, and the A's are taking the field. The red-hot A's of July at 15-9 atop the American League in the month of July, wearing their home white uniforms and greeted by their hometown crowd, but also a great Dodger crowd on hand here in Oakland. Game time weather is presented by Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and as mentioned before, it is comfortable outside, 70 degrees, 68% humidity, and 9-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Another great night to take in a baseball game here in California.
Well, it looks like we've got a lot of folks in the house. I think you can understand why. It's a Friday night. You've got the Los Dodgers in town, spearheaded by Shohei Ohtani.
Well, speaking of Shohei Ohtani, he's the man to lead things off for the Dodgers. He's the DH, then followed by the catcher Will Smith. Gavin Lux, who has been excellent since the All-Star break, bats third. Teoscar Hernandez is the cleanup hitter with Jason Hayward right behind him. Cavan Biggio is behind Hayward, then Hernandez, Kiermaier, and Ahmed to round out the order.
It's going to be right-hander Joey Estes on the mound for the green and gold. And you can see there the games, 14 starts 13, and Joey Estes had his two previous appearances, Chris, against the same club. That was the Halos, but one of those outings in the relief role, 2 2/3, just 2 hits allowed. That was the most recent outing for the right-hander. He will take the ball back in this starting role tonight against a very tough Dodger lineup.
And let's take a look at the defense behind Joey Estes tonight. In left, it's Miguel Andujar, then J.J. Bleday in center, Lawrence Butler in right, with Toro and Brown on the corners, Schumann and Geloff up the middle, and Shea Langeliers is the backstop of choice for Mark Kotsay tonight with Estes on the mound. Well, you can hear the crowd erupt immediately after Amelia Schimmel announced Shohei Ohtani's name to lead things off and start off this series here at the Coliseum. Joey Estes is ready, and so are we. Wind up in the first pitch is swung on and lifted to center. J.J. Bleday will have room and make the catch a few steps shy of the warning track. Here's the umpiring crew tonight. Phil Cuzzi behind the plate, Alex Tosi at first, Dan Bellino, the crew chief, at second, and then Tony Rendazzo is the final man at third.
Chris, with the inhale of the crowd here, you could hear everybody sort of gasp as Shohei Ohtani put the ball in play. You get a pretty good idea what everybody is here to see.
Now it's the catcher, Will Smith, who takes up and in, a ball and no strikes. Smith at 256 on the year, but a slow month of July. Just added 208 last month for the Dodgers.
Well, we've got Phil Cuzzi on the ones and twos behind the plate this evening. Let's take a look at some of his tendencies. No shenanigans with Phil Cuzzi back there. We'll get to that a little later, but he ain't playing. Pitcher's umpire with a large strike zone. Only tight spot, though, when you think about it, inside to the right-handers. So if you're a pitching staff trying to establish fastball first, if that's the game plan, you're trying to establish in. I think it might take a little more effort, a little more work tonight with Phil Cuzzi back there. But if you remember, Chris, we've had a few sticky situations pop up over the years. Phil Cuzzi, a man who was squarely in the middle of the majority of those.
3-1 now to Smith, and he will rifle one foul down the left field line. Now 3-2, the count runs full.
But Will Smith, you know, we sort of opened the ball game talking about the three-headed MVP threat when this club is healthy, and Mookie and Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, but Will Smith, a guy who can put it together.
3-2 called, strike three, and Joey Estes battles back in the count and strikes out Will Smith.
And Joey Estes, little arm side life, back to the outside part of the plate. Will Smith choked up, just got locked up on the heater.
Well, speaking of heaters, Gavin Lux has been on one since baseball has resumed after the All-Star break. It's .429, 15 hits with 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in since the All-Star break, and that average is steadily climbing, now batting third tonight for Dave Roberts. He'll break his bat and foul it off, 0-2.
Gavin Lux going to get some new lumber. But I think the performance for a guy like Gavin Lux, really important for that man right there, and Dave Roberts. You remember, champions back in the shortened COVID season. But we understand that this club trying to put things together as far as health is concerned, maybe not at full strength right now. You're going to need some guys to step up. Gavin Lux is one of those fellas.
0-2, broken bat again, and that'll flare into left center field. Another hit for Gavin Lux. That's the first hit of the game, and the Dodgers have a 2-out base runner in the top of the first.
Well, I think you can see what Joey Estes is trying to do right now against this Dodger lineup. It's maybe a little bit of a backwards approach. Soft early for strikes and then a couple of fastballs. And this one here, Lux just able to fight it off enough.
So the first inning will bring Teoscar Hernandez to the plate, the 2024 Home Run Derby champion.
The freshly reminted Dodger. Teoscar, a part of that effort to maybe plug some holes or just really add, I think, to the depth. And Chris, I don't know how you felt about the deadline as it came and went, but it felt like every time we were being updated, it was just about who was signing with the Dodgers.
Or who the Dodgers were trading for. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Teoscar Hernandez has really pledged his allegiance to the Los Angeles Dodgers, especially early in the season. Has been on the record to say he doesn't want to play anywhere else. I think that it has been a good relationship for both parties. The way that he's played, has an all-star caliber season, home run derby champion, now the cleanup hitter in a team that does have some injuries, does have some of their top players removed, but guys like Nick Ahmed, Kevin Kiermaier, Kike Hernandez now starting pretty much every day in the interim. Hernandez is one of those leaders. Little crush one to left field. Andujar goes back, he looks up, and Hernandez has left the building. A 2-run home run for Teoscar Hernandez, his 23rd of the year, and it's 2-0 Dodgers early.
Prime example of the depth addition that we were talking about. Teoscar Hernandez slotting right in to the 4 spot and doing exactly what you look for him to do, and that's clean it up. Gavin Lux found his way on base ahead with a single, and Teoscar Hernandez jumps all over an elevated fastball on time. See just how far this went. Settle it up right on top of that out-of-town scoreboard. Just kind of creeping out.
Now it's Jason Hayward, who's behind at 0-1. Make that 0-2 after a slider at the bottom of the zone. Oh, 2 pitch. A breaking ball, but this time inside, 1-2.
You see that note up there at the top of the screen. Dodgers almost unbeatable when they're able to put runs up on the board first.
One-two pitch. Another strikeout for Joey Estes. But 2 runs coming to score for Los Angeles after Hernandez 2-run home run. It's 2-0 LA. Well, the Dodgers picked up a pair in the top of the 1st inning. Now it's the A's turn to show their bats. The red-hot bats of July now transfer over to August, with Lawrence Butler leading things off, then Miguel Andujar. J.J. Bleday bats 3rd, then Rooker is the cleanup hitter and DH tonight. Langeliers, Toro, Brown, Geloff, and Schumann finalize the starting lineup. And Lawrence is swinging for the fences immediately on a 4-seam fastball. 0-1.
And you know, that's something that we have seen a lot from Lawrence Butler, I think, as he's continued to settle in at the top of the lineup. And that's some early aggression, first pitch.
Well, for Lawrence, a .363 month of July with 10 homers and 27 runs batted in. That tells the whole story.
Yeah, and I think the story really was, you know, about him and his partner in crime and Brent Rooker, just the combination of productivity.
Lays off on the changeup. 3 straight changeups by Gavin Stone, and now the count is even at 2-2.
See Brent Rooker, Zach Geloff.
And Stone just struck out Butler.
Well, and it's Gavin Stone on the mound. You just saw him dispatch Butler. This right-hander's got a big-time fastball. You just got to look at 97 from the righty. Changeup, fastball, sinker, slider. You'll see a little bit of a cutter and a curveball here or there. It's the changeup that's the money maker.
Now it's Miguel Andujar. Hits it hard to left center field. That's going to drop down for a hit. Good read by Kiermaier. It'll be a long single for Andujar, who scampers back into first with a 1-out single.
Well, I think a good decision by Andujar to get back to first base. Kevin Kiermaier, that's platinum out there in center field this evening, folks. So you got to be sure in your decision making, and you can see Kiermaier cut it off and get it back in. Andujar with that big aggressive turn, but he'll head back. First pitch changeup there from Stone. And Chris, when you start to look at some of the numbers for Gavin Stone, how things have gone here recently, and I think over the course of the season, it's a good year overall for the right-hander. But the last 4 starts or so have just been a struggle. Over his last 4 starts, ERA sitting at 6.27. That's over 18 2/3 innings. 31 hits allowed. Opponents hitting .369 over those 4 games.
Swing and a miss on the changeup, 1-2 for J.J. Bleday. A good pitch there from Gavin Stone, and he uses that changeup a lot.
Well, and you're already getting a pretty good look, not only at the pitch, but also why. It's great arm speed. You can see that ball just start to fade down and off the plate, out of the zone.
All in 2 strikes. Stone from the stretch delivers, and it's outside.
You know, that was a problem, you know, during that stretch we're talking about. The 31 hits, 5 walks, just 12 strikeouts over those 18 2/3 innings. So there was a lot of contact, a lot of loud, hard contact.
2-2 pitch, softly hit into center. In comes Kiermaier. It's going to drop down. So back-to-back hits for Andujar and Bleday, and now the A's have runners on first and second. Speaking of Kiermaier, how about the rest of the Dodger defense tonight? Hernandez in left, Kiermaier in center, Hayward in right, Kike Hernandez is at third, Ahmed and Lux up the middle with Biggio at first, and Will Smith behind the plate for Gavin Stone.
And you know what's really tough about having a guy like Kiermaier out there in center field? Because of his ability to make up ground, to make up speed, I think Andujar had to settle up and make sure that that ball was going to be down. But anybody else who's not as fast, doesn't cover as much ground as Kiermaier, you can probably make that read and find your way maybe to third base. But Andujar having to settle for just 90 feet.
It's Brent Rooker now. Best A's hitter in the month of July, .391, and he has been hotter than the sun.
391 with some thump. Those are the numbers for Gavin Stone. 20th start this evening. See the record. Able to hang around and log some of those decisions. But Chris, these last 4 starts that we've been talking about for Gavin Stone, you rewind just a bit further and you look at the 5 starts prior to those 4 starts, talking about a man on a mission.
For Brent Rooker, 26 home runs, 77 runs batted in. A career year after a career year last year.
Evolving.
One-two, inside out swing to right. Hayward makes the catch, and everybody stays put, 2 down.
And I think that's something that you have to appreciate about Brent Rooker. You know, regardless of how long it's taken the rose to bloom, still smells pretty good.
Now it's the catcher Shea Langeliers with Andujar at second and Bleday at first. The Dodgers lead 2-0. And that's a really good changeup from Stone.
Well, you can tell that a guy's got confidence in it. First pitch, first time through. He's not really worried about changing up off of any speed or velocity. That's how good the pitch is.
For Gavin Stone, wasn't easy to get up here. A 5th-round pick in the shortened 2020 draft out of Central Arkansas. His way up through the minors and now is turning himself into a premier starter at the major league level.
We're at a pretty important time right now for this Dodger club, as they're looking to sort of bolster themselves, or at least have a pretty good idea of what that rotation looks like heading into the dog days, August, September, and eventually into October. Gavin Stone, second on the list in wins amongst MLB rookies.
Ball and 2 strikes to Langoliers. Got a piece of Shea's bat. It'll stay 1-2.
Take a peek from the side here. Right off the barrel.
And Shea's down on strikes. The A's get a pair of hits, but can't cash in the first. It stays 2-0 Dodgers through 1 inning of play.
Take some time to relax after work and catch some weekday baseball. Starting this Monday, watch your A's take on the Chicago White Sox. Lots of great ways to get tickets. We got Bark at the Ballpark on Tuesday. You can buy a mini suite or Community Impact Wednesday tickets. Check out available seats and pricing at athletics.com/tickets. Pale hose. Can't wait.
Gonna be a fun series. Already a fun series here against the Dodgers. Joey Estes gets a high strike call against Cavan Biggio. Another recent addition of the Dodgers, playing a big role for Los Angeles right now over at first base with the absence of Freddie Freeman. He'll swing and miss to make it 0-2.
And you know what's sort of just full circle about that for Cavan Biggio is talking to this fella a long time ago, all the way back when he was with Toronto. That was something that, oh, okay. I think everybody kind of maybe expected that one to go a little differently.
One-two to Biggio is high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Chris, he said, I know that I have to make myself more versatile defensively if I'm going to stick around, if I'm going to have an opportunity to play this game a little longer the way I'd like to.
He hits it high in the air, middle of the infield. It's Max Schumann making the catch.
Now the third baseman, number 8.
But I don't think anybody expects Cavan Biggio to take on the lion's share of the work here in this lineup.
Biggio pops out. Now Kike Hernandez, who's taken on a bigger workload as well, considering all the injuries, will stand in and take strike 1. And you look at this Dodger lineup, is still really, really good in terms of pedigree and talent, but it is not with Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman, a few other guys as well. One's rocketed to center, and Bleday will move on to make the catch. When you look at this, Mookie Betts, Walker Buehler, Tony Gonsolin, Brusdar Graterol, then the former A, Max Muncy, Rojas, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, as well as Freddie Freeman on that family emergency list.
Well, I mean, you think you got Walker Buehler, Tony Gonsolin, you got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I mean, you've got 3/5 of a rotation there. I mean, that is a tough way to try to work through a fairly important part of this season right now. You look at the combined games lost, over 1,200 to the IL stints, more than anybody in baseball. And frankly, when you look up and down this lineup right now, outside of Ohtani in the leadoff spot and Will Smith behind him, you can see there's guys that is really sort of taking on the plug-and-play role right now. Sure, you go out and get a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, who hit the homer earlier.
Got a very good defensive center fielder in Kevin Kiermaier, but a much quicker inning for Joey Estes. 1, 2, 3, in fact. 2-0 Dodgers with Toro, Brown, and Gelof coming up in the second. Today's social poll question presented by Toyota is: who's your favorite player who played for both the A's and the Dodgers? Is it Ricky Henderson? Is it our pal Dave Stewart? Is it Bob Welsh? Or is it Mike Piazza? Scan the QR code to vote now.
Well, we've We've got a little break in the action. You see Doc kind of walking around in front of the dugout. Gavin Biggio looking for a glove. He didn't forget his glove, but during infield between innings, Gavin Biggio taking throws from the infielders across the diamond. Ball actually went through his glove, broke the webbing of his glove. And what's really rare is that there's not another first baseman's glove in this dugout right now. That's an oversight, to say the least.
So what's the protocol here now, Dallas? Do you get a trainer or another player to lace up that glove, or I mean, you can't play without a first base glove, can you?
No, that it's going to be, well, you could play without the glove, sure. It'd look a little different. But the idea that you just do not have another, I think that might be what Phil Cuzzy's wondering. Hey, does anybody else play first base down here? Gavin Biggio's the only guy that plays first base? This reminds you of when growing up, maybe you're playing a team, and I was probably on that team, that didn't have enough equipment, maybe didn't have enough players, so you either just leave the player out there at first base or you leave the glove at first base, and everybody gets to use the same stuff. But this is bad. Finally now, Dino Ebel able to come out and produce a first base glove for Gavin Biggio. It looks like it's his.
Well, remember, for Gavin Biggio, this is a position that is not his by trade. It is typically second base where he plays, but with the Dodgers there is a need at first, and we'll get some action with the new glove. A ground ball to Lux, and one is down.
Glove works.
Speaking of that absence at first base, I would be remiss without wishing my condolences to the entire Freeman family. His wife Chelsea, his sons Maximus and Charlie. They're going through a bit of a family issue right now. Freddie, one of the great ambassadors of the game, and his son Maximus fighting a case of Guillain-Barré syndrome. It was a neurological disorder, and he is showing great progress, but we hope to see Freddie very, very soon, and hopefully his young, wonderful boy can continue to get healthier and healthier, because it's a very wonderful and strong family. And if you know anything about Freddie Freeman, he loves the game of baseball, but he loves his boys more than anything, even life itself.
Well, there's no doubt that his team here with the Los Angeles Dodgers misses him, but I don't think there's any doubt either that he is with the right team right now, and that's the home team. So we do wish Freddie and his entire family well.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes for Seth Brown. He's hit well over his last 7 games, a .389 average. 2-0 Los Angeles in the bottom of the second.
Well, and I think Seth Brown's a name that you have to throw in there when you start answering questions as to how that month of July went. How were you able to put together your first winning month since July of 2022?
And from watching afar, watching you and Jenny on TV and seeing these guys do what they do, Seth Brown has made improvements since being sent down to AAA Las Vegas. Looks like a different player here and now, and that's good for the A's. Loading ball to left. In comes Teoscar Hernandez, and he'll make the catch on the run.
Well, I think for Brownie initially, when you are at the stage in his career that he's at, you get slapped in the face with a demotion. I think there's probably a lot of questions. But I think ultimately the attitude and the approach for Seth Brown is what has won out. And in my opinion, a big part of that recipe that got him to the big leagues. And that's his mindset, the mental fortitude.
So it's now Zach Geloff with 2 outs. Have to imagine, with Stone pitching for the Oklahoma City Baseball Club in AAA and Geloff having a lot of time in Las Vegas, they've seen each other a time or two. It's always good to see young guys on the opposite sides of the field seeing each other at the highest level of play. And Stone wins round 1 against Zach Geloff here in the second. 2-0 Dodgers. Ahmed, Ohtani, and Smith up next for Los Angeles. Well, another new Dodger, Nick Ahmed, will lead things off for Los Angeles in the top of the third, where the Dodgers lead 2-0 against the A's here early. Estes back to work and getting a strike on the inside corner. Well, for Nick Ahmed, picked up by the Dodgers just a few weeks ago on July 24th after being released by the San Francisco Giants across the bay about 2 weeks prior on July 10th. And I think there's a need at shortstop after Mookie Betts, who, as we know, was a middle infielder, then went out to the outfield, became a perennial all-star over there, then took the shortstop position this year. Ahmed, now the guy for the job, pokes the bat head out and makes the catch. Well, moments ago, Dallas caught up with the A's manager.
And I'm here with the skipper, Mark Kotsay. Kots, the month of July is the month of barbecues, and you and the boys were cooking. Coming off your first winning month since July of 2022, how do we flip the script? How do we turn the page and continue that right on in the month of August?
Well, I think the guys have a lot of confidence. You know, they're coming off a great month and the best month that we've had, like you said, in 2 years. So, you know, you're starting to see the kind of fruits of their labor. These guys have put a lot of work in. You know, you can go down the list: Rooker, Bleday, Butler. You can keep going, but it was nice to see the offense come alive last month.
Koch, typically a triple-headed, a three-headed MVP monster at the top of this lineup. Well, there's no Mookie, there's no Freddie, it is Shohei Ohtani. What does young Joey Estes have to do to go out and get through this lineup 2, 3, maybe even a fourth time?
Yeah, I think, you know, he made a mistake 0-2 to Lux. He gave up a hit, and then the 2-2 fastball, he tried to beat him up top. You know, he got hurt there, but so far he's kept him off balance. He's just got to keep the ball down in the zone and on the corners.
Koch, appreciate the time.
Yep.
So 2 quick outs for Joey Estes. Both balls were hit hard to center field, but J.J. Bleday had the real estate covered. Now the number 2 hitter, Will Smith, was the first strikeout victim of Joey Estes' evening. Caught him looking. Now he'll lift one to short. And Schumann will make the catch. A 7-pitch inning. That's exactly what you want from Joey Estes. Schumann, Butler, and Andujar coming up next. Tomorrow at the Paris Olympics, Steph Curry and Team USA face Puerto Rico. Plus, Sha'Carri Richardson goes for the gold in the 100-meter final. That's tomorrow morning at 8:15 on NBC Bay Area. Well, the Dodgers are up 2 here in the bottom of the third. Max Schumann swings and misses on an inside pitch, 0-1. And Schumann hitless in his last 4 games. Going to get aboard here to start off the A's offense, and he will do just that, slapping it the other way. A leadoff base hit for Max Schumann. What a beautiful piece of hitting. Well, it's time now for our Stats with Lowe's feature. And it's Lawrence Butler. In his last 25 games, he has been scorching hot. 366 average, double-digit homers, and 27 runs batted in, as well as 23 runs scored.
Well, this inning starting to shape up the way we have seen in the past with these two fellows hooking up. Schumann at the bottom of the lineup, turning it over and giving Lawrence Butler those RBI opportunities.
Good lead for Schumann off of first. And Stone will throw over to Biggio, who had to kind of move out of the way of the diving Schumann, already with a new piece of leather. Wondering how that's going to factor into his defensive night the rest of the way tonight.
Well, again, you'd like to think that he's traveling with more than just one first baseman's glove. Hopefully it's its own.
All in no strikes. Oh, no balls in 1 strike, excuse me. Now 0-2.
That changeup again. What a neutralizing weapon.
Lays off this time.
You know, and you can see him sort of manipulating this pitch, Chris, where There's some depth on it. There's some horizontal movement maybe earlier in the count. When he gets to 2 strikes, should that be the weapon he chooses, I think you see a little more depth on it at times. There it is. Man, just an absolute wipeout changeup right now. And you want to talk about ricocheting. But again, this is all brought to you in part by the incredible arm speed, replicating that fastball arm speed out of the hand. And that's what these hitters are trying to time up, trying to pick up.
Well, for Gavin Stone, you see that changeup, and then you look at the statistics and realize that changeup carries a 187 opponent average.
Yeah.
I think we can see why.
Well, and I think it's due in part to Gavin Stone taking a look at his arsenal, and obviously the Dodgers as well, and maybe reshaping and retooling some things, because the changeup usage, as much of a weapon as it is for him, down this year from last year, 26% this year as opposed to 34% last year for the right-hander.
And that's grounded foul by Andujar. A little too much spin on the ball, and Stone let it roll out of play.
But there's something else at play too, Chris, and that's the fastball usage and the types of fastballs, because the four-seam fastball has declined in usage down to 24% this year off of 28% last year. But the sinker, he's throwing that 10% more this year to the clip of 24% over the 14% usage last year. So you're seeing a pitch with a similar shape as the changeup, reduction or an increase in velocity, that he's showing a little more.
And it has looked difficult for left-handed hitters, and also difficult for righties at the plate tonight. Another foul ball.
You know, the other pitch that we haven't seen a ton of tonight, and you may start to see here second time through, is that slider.
Two-two, line drive into center field. In comes Kiermaier. It'll drop down for another hit for Miguel Andujar.
Well, again, Andujar catching this sinker maybe a little closer to the label. But Kiermaier, again, the conversation we were having last inning about Andujar and whether or not he was going to be able to read Gill first to third. Kiermaier flashing the glove up there. That is a tough customer out there in center field. Great defender, good throwing arm, great routes, good jumps.
Now it's J.J. Bleday with 2 on. He'll foul off the first pitch. He had a hit in the first inning, but was left stranded on first with Miguel Andujar at second. Now Andujar is at first, and Max Schumann is on second with just 1 out, and a 2-0 Dodgers advantage in the bottom of the third.
One Stone back to that changeup. 2 in a row here to Bleday.
Now it's a ball and 2 strikes. Bleday looking for a Gavin Stone mistake. He'll lay off of a hard changeup.
Well, and JJ can win the at-bat here, staying on a changeup. A lot easier for me to say up here, because he's also got to contend with 97, 98 moving around out there. But And if he could stay on a changeup and just flip one over to left.
You can see the intent there. Fouls it straight back. But I think he was eyeing left, just as you said.
Well, you've got Kevin Kiermaier. There you go. Right fan got it. You got Kevin Kiermaier shaded towards that right center gap. And Hernandez maybe a couple feet over from straight up and left.
2-2, another foul ball. Blede's fighting here in his second trip to the plate against Gavin Stone.
And this is why the work from Gavin Stone right now is being done inside. You saw him try to paint one away at 96. Blede fought it off, but back there in with the fastball. Very well maybe getting a changeup here.
2-2. And a good take from Blede.
And I think JJ is thinking lock and step right now with Gavin Stone. Now it's a matter of whether or not he can stay committed to the fastball and make the necessary adjustment should it be the changeup.
3-2 pitch. And JJ swings and misses on a low changeup.
When you see where this is located, Chris, this ball really starting in, ending up inner third. I think Blede maybe saw that pitch out of the hand, inner third, decided he had to speed up. You just got to tip your cap there to Gavin Stone. That's a big pitch.
Rooker hit it the opposite way, but it landed in Hayward's glove in the first inning. Now with 2 on and 2 out, has to get aboard. Just the man you want up in this situation. He'll swing on the first pitch, ground it hard to third. Kike Hernandez goes the easy way to second, and that will retire the side. Some more hits for the A's, but no runs yet for the green and gold. 2-0 Dodgers.
Another Sunday means more A's legends back at the ballpark for Alumni Sundays. Scott Hatteberg and Chad Pinder will be signing autographs starting at 11:35 a.m. in the East Side Club, and that's on Sunday. A game ticket is required for entry, so get your tickets at athletics.com/Alumni Sundays. How about that, Dave Beard? Hi, Keith. Little opening, or first pitch, excuse me. Great to see those guys. Some folks who remember the great days of Billy Ball.
To center. No chance for Blede, and he deals with it perfectly. 1 down.
The left fielder, number 37, Teoscar Hernandez.
Estes has checked that box finally, gets Gavin Lux out. Teoscar Hernandez is the man that made it 2-0 in the first inning with 2 outs. 2-run home run just to top the left field scoreboard. Barely got out of the ballpark. It's his 23rd of the year. Nobody aboard, and will ground it the other way. Geloff to his left, shuffles, fires, and beats Hernandez by a step.
The right fielder, number 23, J.J. Hayward.
Well, Chris, we've got some action tonight across the game. And as it would have it, Blake Snell. Blake Snell has just thrown a no-hitter. First complete game in the career of left-hander Blake Snell.
Well, for Blake Snell, I don't think anybody thinks of him as a distance runner, more of a 5-inning sprinter, but he gives you an amazing 5 innings. But tonight gave a phenomenal 9 in Cincinnati. Jason Hayward to his Atlanta counterpart in right. Butler makes the catch. A 5-pitch inning for Joey Estes in the 4th. 2-0 Dodgers.
This telecast is brought to you by Provident Credit Union. Make life easy.
You can see the clouds right above the stadium, presiding over the bay. Still a great day to take in a baseball game. A cool day.
I tell you, I would much rather have this than the 42 degrees Kelvin that I was dealing with in Southern California. like sitting on the surface of the sun.
Well, I'm sure the Dodgers in sunny Los Angeles and hot Los Angeles are happy to have a reprieve from the heat. But that ball just got scorched off the second deck, and Shea Langeliers has put the A's on the board. It's 2-1.
My, oh my, that ball was pelted, absolutely leaned on. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez took about a step and a half and said, yeah, probably not. 431 feet, only 431 feet, because the second deck got in the way. My goodness.
The A's had something cooking in the third inning. Had a leadoff base runner. How about a leadoff home run? That's exactly what Shea Langeliers did, and now Gavin Stone will get back to work against Abraham Toro, who bounced out to second to lead off the second inning.
See how he adjusts to the cage being rattled a little.
For Abraham, in a bit of a skid right now, 188 over his last 15 games of play. But it's a new month. And when it's a new month, Dallas, you see guys like Shea Langeliers just feeding off of that energy.
Well, that's it. He got a little change up right in the middle of the plate, and oh, Bangaliers they call him, took care of it.
Now 3-2 to Abraham Toro.
I tell you, there's not many feelings that are better than when you flush a ball like that and you can watch the defender just turn into a fan.
3-2. Toro was underneath it to right. Hayward's got it, one down.
You know, but it's the bread and butter for Gavin Stone, and he left one up and very hittable. And Shea just mauled it. Look where this thing lands. Right in the front row of the second deck. It's a narrative that has surrounded the team really from the jump of the season, but round up, that's 51% of the runs scored via the long ball for this club. And I think when you realize that that's the case, that you have the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark with the frequency that this club does, you got to find ways to get more guys on base simply for that reason. Feels like you give yourself a really good chance to put up crooked numbers if you're hitting 2 3-run homers maybe a couple times throughout the ball game.
To Seth Brown, he's swinging away in foul ground. Long way to go for Hernandez. And it'll drop in front of him. Well, for Shea Langeliers, we know about his ability to hit the long ball, but the numbers back it up as well. 30% of all of the hits that he has been able to rack up this year have been long balls. Switching focus to Gavin Stone, when you see a guy who was rolling and moving right along through 3 innings, then a leadoff solo home run. What does that do to a starter's mentality? It has to be a bit of a break from everything else that's happened. Now this one's crushed to right. Hayward looks up. Brown has tied the game.
Swinging A's ain't playing tonight.
I'll tell you what, Langeliers homer. Brown says, I'm going to get to double digits here in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 2-2.
Chris impressed with the way things have been going for Gavin Stone. Told you to be on notice. There's been some damage. He has had a tough time keeping the opponent off the scoreboard really through his last 4 starts. Seth Brown on the board.
Weakly grounded up the middle. Ahmed moves over, and Biggio, a nice dig with his backhand. 2 down.
We'll take you back to the long ball here. Take a peek at where this was. Fastball up top. You know what Brownie said. Pack your bags, Chris. You know where we're headed. All aboard. Next stop, Browntown.
Love when my questions get answered for me. You know, that home run seemed like it was a fork in the road for the first time for Gavin Stone tonight. I was going to ask you what happens after this to a guy, and then Seth Brown pretty much says, well, this happens.
You leave these mistakes up. This is the big leagues. You leave them up, they're going to get hit.
Drop to short. Ahmed throws to first. That will retire the side. Homers from Langeliers and Brown tie the game at 2-2. There's one. And there's 2. Well, that score looks pretty nice, doesn't it, Dallas? 6 hits for Oakland, including 2 big homers in the bottom of the 4th inning from Shea Langeliers and Seth Brown. It's now 2-2, and Joey Estes, after a 5-pitch 4th inning of work, is back out against Cavan Biggio. Popped out to short when he led off the 2nd inning.
Well, I think you're seeing a couple lineups now between the Dodgers and the Athletics going up with a fairly aggressive approach. Joey Estes has been very good as far as getting contact, early contact.
As Mark Kotze said, it was truly just one mistake pitch to Teoscar Hernandez. And that has seemingly been erased after the 2 runs were scored by the A's. And Estes revving up the fastball, striking out his 4th man tonight. Well, some moves on the A's side. Darell Hernaiz, welcome back to the green and gold, reinstated from the 60-day injured list, and Brett Harris was optioned to AAA Las Vegas, as well as Luis Medina being transferred to the 60-day injured list.
And you know what, I think both those fellas, with their names being mentioned, one, you get a guy like Darell back, and you love that, because I think what we were watching with Darell was a guy become extremely comfortable fairly quickly, in my opinion, as he started to settle in with some regular playing time, getting some regular at-bats. You remember Darell went down at the beginning of May, hustling, which is not odd for Darell, but busting it down the line, caught the front of the bag. Initially, you thought there might have been a hyperextension, you know, the knee, the ankle, you just weren't quite sure.
To left field, on Duhar goes back and makes a nice catch over his shoulder. Looked like he was a defensive back.
Well, just
back on the ball.
Tracking. You can see him start to bow back just a bit instead of having to catch that ball really across his body, working back. And we were talking about Darell Hernaiz and what it means to get a guy like him back, but also I think a lot of credit due to Brett Harris, who came up, understood the role that he was going to be playing, filled in very admirably. And when you talk about culture, chemistry, cohesiveness, I think it's really important for a young group. And when you have guys moving up and down, I think it's important to try to maintain that. And you need human beings that can do that. Darell and Brett, a couple of guys really good in that sense of pulling for each other, pulling for the man to the left and right. And that's a good look at the young group, young core.
Talked to Lawrence Butler about that ahead of the second game against the Giants just a few days ago, and he said, we're really just feeling it. Everybody's feeling good. We're coming together at the right time. The vibes are high in the clubhouse. I think that's a really good thing to see for a club that had their first winning month in 2 years. And when you see the personnel, you see some of the guys that aren't here, with Tyler Soderstrom being injured, Daryl Hernandez at that point injured. A lot of guys that will be able to contribute in the future, and for them to piece it together and have a wonderful month is a very positive thing to see.
No doubt.
In the air to left, another chance for Andujar, who makes the catch by the line. Another 1-2-3 inning for Joey Estes.
The MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to your favorite ballpark. You can buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, and much, much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Game is level at 2. Lawrence Butler and the A's crew come up in the bottom of the 5th, 1, 2, and 3. Butler has sat down twice via 2 swinging strikeouts, looking for his first hit against Gavin Stone. And Stone has really worked that changeup against Butler, and that's hard for any lefty to figure out.
Well, that's, again, another aggressive approach for Lawrence Butler early. And I don't think anybody faults Gavin Stone for trying to keep a guy like Butler off balance the way things have gone, making him hit your pitch. And I think that's why we've seen Stone just try to stay away from Lawrence Butler. Figures if he's going to beat me, I'm going to make it happen the other way. Maybe at best just up into a gap. I want to keep him in the yard. I do not want to let him spin.
He'll take outside a leadoff walk. Good start for the A's in the 5th. Tomorrow's going to be a great game. A's against Dodgers, and due to dual events happening right across the street at Oakland Arena, we suggest taking public transportation to the game tomorrow as well as Sunday. Lots of events happening in Oakland. No better place to watch some baseball than right here against the Dodgers on a beautiful Friday night.
And lock in. It'll be baseball in the afternoon. Maybe you catch a peek of Grave Digger. Monster trucks, they'll be cruising around beforehand. You ever been to a monster truck rally, a demolition derby, Chris? Anything like that?
You know me, you know my tastes, you know who I am.
So no. So no's
the answer is no. Yes,
got it.
It's no.
Yeah. I didn't have you as a gearhead. Didn't have you down there in the pits.
Hey, listen, I drive a great car with fantastic fuel economy. 5-star safety rating by Kelley Blue Book.
And it even comes with a kickstand. So cute.
2 balls and no strikes to Andujar.
Well, Gavin Stone facing the swinging A's right now. 3rd time through the order. You see how things start to ratchet up. Opponent's hitting .274 this 3rd time through.
Line the other way, and that's fair down the right field line. Look at Lawrence run. He's going to round 3rd and try to score. He will score. Here comes Andujar. Slides into 3rd base with an RBI triple. The A's take the lead 3-2.
Well, just a rifled shot down that first base line from Miguel Andujar. Catches a sinker. They try to go glove side, starts to creep back just a little. Nice placement, Miggy, past a diving Kevin Biggio. He can't get to it. And the Lawn Dog, get on your horse and ride. Picking him up and putting him down. Emart with that windmill crank and lose the lid. He'll score. And Miggy in safe at 3rd with an RBI triple.
Best part of it all, nobody out. And Bleday coming up as Joe Kelly starts to get warm in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Infield is drawn in. Bleday 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout.
We flashed those numbers for Lawrence Butler, the RBI, the runs scored, and it's the quality at bat that finds him on base that eventually turns into this RBI triple. I mean, he was hoofing it.
2-0. Hard shot, fair down the right field line again. 4-2 A's. Bleday's going to stretch for second. He's going to slide in safely. The extra base hit parade is active in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bleday a double. And the A's now have a 2-run advantage.
Well, Dave Roberts on his way out to the mound right now. J.J. Bleday gets a little wrinkle that just sits right in the middle. And once again, right field line getting worn out. You can see first base coach Bobby Crosby in Bleday's ear around the back. Hey, you got 2. Go get him. J.J. Bleday, baby, in with an RBI double. That'll knock Gavin Stone out of the ball game.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and smog experts. 4-2 A's after RBI extra base hits from Andujar and Bleday, and still nobody out as Dave Roberts has gone to his bullpen early.
Well, and he's had to right now. Some loud noise off the barrels of the swinging A's. That'll force Doc Roberts to turn to the right-hander, the right-handed fireballer in Joe Kelly. 22nd appearance for the right-hander, and he's got some work to do right now.
Not an easy position to be in, especially considering the man coming up to the plate. He's our Blue Moon bright spot. You look at his major league ranks, 6th in home runs with 26, tied for 4th with 77 RBIs on the season, and then a .954 on base plus slugging. And a chance to add to that total further with Bleday on second and already a 2-run advantage at 4-2.
And that right there is what Joe Kelly comes with. A lot of tight spin, some good velocity. He'll check down at first base. Say Brent Rooker did offer. Brent Rooker has been a man on fire with runners in scoring position, hitting over 300.
Once again, the top of the order making things happen against Gavin Stone and hopefully even more against the Dodger bullpen. Andujar already a 3-hit night. RBI triple this inning, 2 hits for Bleday. He's the man standing on second. And now Rooker, fly ball to center field. This one's going to draw Kiermaier back. He's still going. He leaps, and Rooker's done it again. Home run number 27 on the year. A magical season for number 25. He makes it 6-2 A's.
It's unbelievable.
And now Langoliers off the end of the bat. It looked like it was carrying out instead of fly out to Teoscar Hernandez, but Brent Rookers was crushed to center field.
When it feels like every big swing you see, you got to hold your breath because you just never know. Stay fair. Stay fair. Oh, Kiermaier trying to size it up. And he's going to run out of real estate. Oh, man. Well, we said it, month of July. It's the month of barbecues. Let Rook cook.
145 homers for the Athletics, just behind those battling Dodgers of Los Angeles. As far as I'm concerned, Dallas, it's July 33rd tonight.
I'm with it.
Ground ball to second. Lux, Biggio, 2 outs.
You can see why this dugout, why this clubhouse just does not care about the outside noise and the conversations or the narratives surrounding their young group. They got a pretty good idea of who they are and who they want to be as a group. The personality, I think, you're watching really start to shine through. You talk about clubs creating character for themselves and identity for themselves, and I think each and every day that's what we're watching, is this identity form.
So 3 homers for the A's on this game alone. Had 2 more extra base hits from Andujar and Bleday. You can see these guys are eyeing well beyond first, and Seth Brown tied the game with a blast of his own to right earlier.
He just went up and got a fastball. Yeah, it started. Seen some of those fastballs leak back over into the strike zone.
We are watching a superstar every single night here in Oakland in Brent Rooker. And Seth Brown swings and misses there, couldn't catch up the heat. Joe Kelly a strikeout, but Brent Rooker a 2-run home run. Bang. Number 27, 6-2 A's. Two runs for the A's in the 4th and 4 in the 5th, headlined by a Brent Rooker 2-run home run. His 27th of the year makes it 6-2, and Joey Estes is building off of another great offensive performance tonight with some great pitching of his own.
And I think anytime you get the kind of run support that Joey Estes has received here, you're able to just settle right back into that attack mode. Force the action. You're at a portion of the lineup here that can get you off on that good foot. That's how things have gone so far. 5+. We're working our way into the 6th right now. Joey Estes just 57 pitches.
Remember, this is a guy that earlier this year threw a complete game.
Well, and a dominant one at that. Just 92 pitches necessary for Joey, and that's why we highlight the efficiency right now. Just 58 pitches against Nick Ahmed here, bottom of the lineup. You get that first out, you flip it over, and you go to work against the big boys. Ohtani, Smith.
Best thing for Joey Estes, the best thing that he's done is get Ohtani up to the plate without any base runners, and he'll do it again, striking out Nick Ahmed on a wipeout slider. Now 5 Ks for Estes.
Well, and I think, you know, there's a couple different things at play here with Ahmed, but one, just being outstuffed right now by Joey Estes, and I think there's just a little hitch in the hands of Nick Ahmed that's probably making it a little difficult for him to get to pitches.
No dice there. It looked good from here. A ball and no strikes for Ohtani. 2 flyouts to center. Hit him hard, but landed in Bleday's glove, and now Estes earns the strike back with a good changeup. His own strike call, and Ohtani is behind at a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, and Chris, there's just not many places you can go to get a guy like Ohtani out. Up, you might have some success. Don't know if up and out is the exact place you'd go. Friends over at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, put together the hot zone for Shohei Ohtani, and that's what we're talking about. The changeup up and out, he got the call on. Well, Ohtani's hitting 350 in that spot. You put it up and in, you feel like you got a much better chance. Just 188 in that location for Ohtani.
1-2. Little flare into left. Andujar coming in. Toro going out. Oh my goodness! An over-the-shoulder basket catch, robbing Ohtani of his first hit of the series.
Throw some leather and a prayer at it, Chris, and see which one works out. 1-0 leather. That's a heck of a job by Toro, just trying to track this ball in the twilight through that gray sky. You've got that marine layer he's battling. What a job by Toro. Man.
It's now Will Smith.
That's, all part of having the scouting report, having a heat map. Chris, are you confident in your ability to pitch to this scouting report? Can you execute? Remember, up and in, you can get your outs. Well, that one maybe not quite as elevated as they would have liked, but at 95 in that neighborhood, you're able to get probably the game's biggest threat out.
66 pitches for Joey Estes. He's behind against Will Smith. Smith has struck out looking and popped out to short in his 2 trips to the plate. Now we'll hear a word from PNC Bank.
If Boring had a workout, it would be the wall sit. I should probably take a break soon.
Quick conversation between Estes and Langeliers. And he pitches in on Will Smith.
Well, I can appreciate. Uh-oh. How about that?
And a 4-pitch walk that ends Joey Estes' 15 outs in a row against Dodgers hitters. He'll start a new one against Gavin Lux, we hope. First walk of the night for Joey Estes, and it comes with 2 outs. Lux has singled and scored, also flew out to center. I know that Tommy Edman is still injured, a new acquisition of the Dodgers, but it seems like Lux and Edman are 2 very similar players.
Yeah, guys that you can move around. And Tommy Edman maybe a little more familiar with the outfield, but I think either way, no problem for Dave Roberts putting either one of those fellas in a place of need, whether it's a day off, getaway day, whatever it may be for somebody.
You also have Kike Hernandez, who can play the outfield, can play 3 infield spots. Gavin Lux, obviously a sad year last year, could not compete due to an injury. Now back in the saddle with the Dodgers here in 2024. 3 balls and no strikes, and Estes loses his 2nd straight hitter. Now runners on first and second. Here comes another conversation, this time with the pitching coach, Scott Emerson. Xfinity is proud to bring every moment of inspiration from Team USA at the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Xfinity, the fastest connection to Paris.
For Estes, just 2 appearances this season, 3, in which he has not walked a batter. For Joey right now, after a couple back-to-back free passes here, you got to lock it back in, and I can appreciate the effort from Langeliers during that extended conversation. I think during that at-bat to Smith was in an effort to try to get him back locked in before things start to compile and compound.
Just need one out to keep it a 4-run advantage for the A's. And Estes misses outside.
Take you back to the first inning. Damage done. Teoscar jumping ship right after the Gavin Lux single. That would put the Dodgers on the board early.
Gets a strike against Hernandez. Beautiful skies just behind us. Not a pretty shot. Very lucky to live and take in a baseball game in this beautiful part of the country. Really, the only thing more beautiful than that sunset is the scoreline right now. Estes is having trouble against Smith, Lux, and Hernandez, who now is ahead at 3-1. And with one swing of the bat, could bring the game within one.
Well, you'd like for him to find it right now, because this very well may be his last opportunity to do so.
There's a strike. Now 3-2. Both runners at first and second will have a head start.
Love for Joey to get out of this inning here. No doubt he gets himself an opportunity to go back out there for a 7th inning, but it's got to happen right now against Hernandez.
Payoff pitch. He struck him out. An emphatic strikeout for Joey Estes. Possibly earns himself an opportunity to come out in the 7th. Deals with Hernandez and keeps it 6-2 A's. YouTube Shorts, our full lineup of podcasts and tons of extended coverage you won't find anywhere else. You can get it all on the NBCS Authentic YouTube channel. Subscribe now. 6-2 A's in the bottom of the 6th inning. 9-hit performance for the green and gold, and Zach Geloff is swinging and missing against a new pitcher. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and smog experts.
Evan Phillips, 37th appearance for the right-hander. You can already see the good fastball. For Dave Roberts, the Dodgers right now, game 1 of this series, just trying to get some outs, keep things where they are.
Geloff is down swinging.
Well, pretty good sign there. Joey Estes, job well done, but I think you can also see on the face of Joey Estes a little disappointment, maybe not being able to get back out there for that 7th inning. And I think what Mark Kotsay has to do day in and day out, as we have talked about a multiple amount of times, is balance. Growing this young club on an individual and a collective basis, and also trying to win big league ball games. And that's not as easy as it might sound.
And that shot the other way into right. Another hit for Max Schumann. 2-hit performance for him. He'll turn it over to the top of the order and Lawrence Butler.
You know, because you might say to yourself, you see Max Schumann, well, 4-seam fastball, just cut right in half, shot the other way. Once again, Max Schumann down there in that 9 spot, flipping it over, giving Lawrence Butler opportunity to do a little damage.
See if he's swinging early his 4th time up. He is, and chopping it foul off to the right side.
You know, but just as much as you might want to grow a guy like Joey Estes in an outing like this, where you do have a little cushion, I think what you started to see towards that last half inning was him wane a little bit. Command started to falter. And I think it might be better served to go out and get him and say, hey, thanks for the great 6 innings worth of work. You did everything we needed you to do. You kept us in the game. The offense came back, gave you a little 4-run cushion. We've got some guys down there in that bullpen that we feel we can match up with from here on out. don't you take a seat and watch this W.
Backs up another quality start. Butler late to the sinker, now 0-2. Lawrence reached base on a leadoff walk to start off the 5th inning. And 4 runs came in to score. RBI triple and RBI double, then a Rooker 2-run home run. He'll go fishing. Snap throw to first, and diving back in safely is Schumann. 2 strikeouts for Evan Phillips, and Andujar is coming up.
Well, they just expand up and out here to Lawrence Butler. You see not much action there with the lower half, really just trying to be as handsy as he can in that spot. Just a little too much thunder from Phillips.
Good sweeper at the top of the zone. Andujar has done everything that he has needed to do for the club. A perfect night at the plate so far. 3 for 3, 2 singles, an RBI triple, a run scored. He's elevated his average back to a point shy of 300. For Andujar and this 1 through 4 part of the order, Andujar, Bleday, and Rooker are responsible for 6 of the team's 10 hits. So 2, 3, and 4 are doing exactly what you would expect out of the 2, 3, and 4 part of the order, and then some. A wave and a miss. Phillips strikes out the side, and it stays 6-2 through 6 innings.
Welcome back. Time now for your play of the day, brought to you by your California Ford dealers. Joey Estes was doing just that, dealing. Right-handers 6 strong, just 2 earned runs allowed for Joey Estes. A couple of free passes there. I think got to the end of his outing, but for the most part, you look up and down the lineup, Joey Estes able to keep the biggest power threat, really the biggest offensive threat in Ohtani off the bases. It was Teoscar Hernandez who jumped on him early with that first inning long ball, but after that, not much offense for the Dodgers.
Well, Dave Roberts will go to his bench. Pinch hitting for Jason Hayward is Ahmed Rosario. And taking outside when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Is TJ McFarland.
Marcotte goes to TJ McFarland. See if he can't get his matchup. Dave Roberts. Plug in Rosario.
Rounded down the third base line and fair. That'll kick off the corner right by the bullpen, and Rosario pulls up at second base with a leadoff pinch hit double.
The first baseman, number 6, Kevin Biggio.
Looks like a changeup there from the left-hander, and Rosario catches it off the end, but in a perfect spot just over the bag. Fair ball. That's a leadoff double for Rosario and the Dodgers.
Now it's Kevin Biggio taking strike 1. Lefty-lefty matchup here. He's popped out and struck out swinging. That's lifted near the A's bullpen. And foul, 0-1. Well, you look at Ahmed Rosario as well as now Austin Adams warming up in the pen for the A's, and you think, how many moves could the Dodgers possibly make at a trade deadline? Well, they got him, they got Edman, Kopech, Kiermaier.
As well as the best starting pitcher available, Jack Flaherty.
But they also got guys earlier than that. Nick Ahmed, the man standing at the plate, Kevin Biggio. They were active in the months of June and July.
Well, you might even say proactive. And that's, you know, part of dealing from the hand that the Dodgers are holding. They've got a pretty good idea of what the health looks like moving forward, but Kiermaier, defense, Flaherty, arm on the mound, Rosario, depth.
And McFarland strikes out Biggio. So one down. It'll keep Rosario at second base for the moment. We'll welcome Kike Hernandez.
Well, and Roberts opting to keep the left-on-left matchup there. Biggio gets a little sinker there from old Spanky. Can I help you? No, thanks. Just looking.
Kike Hernandez 0 for 2. And again, TJ McFarland wary of the man at second base, Rosario, who is having a reunion with the Dodgers. Came from the Rays, but has put on the Dodger blue before. That National League West division is getting more and more competitive by the second. As I told you, the Diamondbacks just needed their guys to get healthy and they'd be back in the thick of it. They're tied for second with the San Diego Padres. And if the season were to end today, the Dodgers, the D-backs, and the Padres would all have a spot in the postseason.
There's the Hofer. It's your first ballot inner circle Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw. Just got him back. First time in his career, Chris, he did not strike out a batter.
Two to Hernandez. It works way inside on the sweeper. Well, Dallas, nothing was really going well for the Dodgers on their first two legs of this road trip. Played 3 against the Houston Astros, dropped 2 of those, and then lost both games in San Diego. They've lost 4 of 5 to start this road trip, and now are behind against the A's, where Oakland leads 6-2.
Well, you can go up and down this lineup. You can start at the bottom and go up. You can start at the top and go down. But I think once you get past the first couple guys right now in this lineup, I think it's a lineup that you can take advantage of. If you're a man on the mound, a guy that I think understands how to change speeds. Sure, there's some guys that can hurt you in this lineup, but I don't think any more so than some other big league lineups that don't have the benefit of 3 MVPs in their first 3 hitters.
And McFarland now walks Kike Hernandez, bringing up another pinch hitter in Andy Pages.
Your attention please. Now pinch hitting number 44, Andy Pages.
It looks like Mark Kotsay will take TJ McFarland out of the game early. There's the point, and Austin Adams fires one home. They'll go with the righty. 6-2 A's with 2 on and 1 out in the 7th.
By authority of the Oakland Athletics, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Do it, Foss. Do it. That was game 5. That was the long ball. A's win that game 3-2. I'm going to go ahead and call it the game winner, because without that homer, well, I think you understand you're sitting at a tie ball game. Needed that one, Foss. That a baby.
A little bit more to that off of Dodgers Hall of Fame pitcher Don Sutton.
That's it.
That's not an easy at bat, and it looked like Ray Fosse took care of that and made a lot of people happy. Coliseum.
It'll be right-hander Austin Adams. Tight spot here. Pages on for the Dodgers. You got your right on right. And there's strike 1 with the slide piece.
Andy Pages, another great Dodger rookie. One thing about the Dodgers I think a lot of people don't look at is Yes, they can afford any player on the market at any point in time, but they also develop a lot of really good players through their minor league system. They sign international guys like Andy Pages, then develop them to be stars of the future at Chavez Ravine.
Well, if you're going to end up supplementing your roster with additions during the season, I think it stands to reason you're going to need to be able to give. If you're looking to take, talking resources, you need players.
Pages swings and misses, tips it into Langeliers' glove, and Austin Adams gets his first man with a swinging strikeout.
Well, you've got to come in spinning for strikes out of the bullpen, especially in a situation like this, and that's exactly what Adams did. Came in, dialed up 2 strikes back-to-back with a slider, and was able to move it around and expand, put Pages on the defensive. Now you got a big second out.
Now you have the Sacramento State product James Outman coming up to the plate. Outman had a phenomenal rookie season last year. Was pushing for the Rookie of the Year honors that were eventually won by another left-handed hitting outfielder in Corbin Carroll. But a little slower this year. 149 average, has been up and down from AAA Oklahoma City. Now back with the big league club, trying to figure it out as there's been a need for the Dodgers.
I'm sure Outman's got some folks in town.
That one gets away from Langeliers. It will allow Rosario as well as Kike Hernandez to advance 90 feet. Now 2 runners in scoring position.
Initially, we wondered if that ball may have caught Outman. It did not.
Has scored a wild pitch on Austin Adams, and he gets Outman to swing and miss on a low slider. Now 2-2.
Right-hander Daniel Hudson now loosening for the Dodgers.
Hopefully he comes in at a 6-2 game. And Outman just got clipped. And this is not the situation you want to be in if you're a reliever. Bases loaded and the best player in the world coming up to the plate. And wisely, Scott Emerson is going to head to the mound and have a conversation with Austin Adams.
Well, let's rewind briefly here. See where Outman catches this. Looks like right on that front thigh. That slider just clipping him. Now this is a conversation where Scott Emerson is letting everybody know what I think we all know. Let's not let Shohei Ohtani beat us. If that means the score is 6-3 and it's not 7-6, or excuse me, 6-6, we're good. We're happy with that.
The phones are out all over the Coliseum. Dodger fans on their feet for a big moment in this game. And Ohtani will take strike 1. I mean, if you're a reliever, Dallas, how do you even navigate trying to control your nerves against a guy like Ohtani?
Well, it's not necessarily a matter of nerves. It's just a matter of execution right now. You want to stay out of the top of the zone.
Strike 2.
And Chris, if you can do that and just paint away, you force Ohtani to either give in and hit your pitch, or it's going to be a long battle.
biggest pitch of the game up to this point. Adams is set at his chest against Ohtani at 1-2. From the stretch, it's fouled off.
Well, Ohtani has been very familiar with the Coliseum. His big league debut. First knock here, it's off right-hander Kendall Graveman. Also watched him log his first W here on the mound.
The next 1-2 to first. Brown on the run, flips to Adams, and they get Ohtani. A bunch of traffic, but it stays 6-2 thanks to Austin Adams and company. To the stretch we go.
My Toyota, class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places. And by Mancini Sleep World. Visit Mancini Sleep World and save on cooling mattresses and accessories. Or visit sleepworld.com.
Some excellent tightrope walking from Austin Adams. The bases were loaded with 2 outs and Ohtani came up. He got a ground ball out to keep it at 6-2. We're now in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3, 4, and 5 are coming up. J.J. Bleday will lead things off. Has 2 hits in his 3 trips to the plate. Now it's Daniel Hudson to take the ball as the next reliever of choice.
Well, Chris, in my opinion, the most important pitch of that inning was the first pitch strike to Shohei Ohtani from Austin Adams. I think that just set the tone for the at-bat.
1-1 in the air to right field. It's Pages making the catch just shy of the warning track.
Time now for StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. How about some long balls? 3 of them to the night. Bangaliers at 113 off the bat. Seth Brown at about a hundo. Brent Rooker 108. Got over 1,200 feet worth of homers.
Don't you love to see that? Rooker and Butler going step for step since July 2nd. 12 for Rooker, 10 for Lawrence Butler. Now Brent sends a charge to right center field. Back goes Outman, and he will make the catch. Backpedaling right in front of the wall. 2 down. Well, Outman is the new center fielder. Andy Pages, as we mentioned, in right, and Ahmed Rosario is the shortstop. Those are the defensive changes that have been made here in the 7th. Much like Rooker, Shea Langeliers has a home run. He will take outside, a ball and no strikes.
Well, Shea in on the action. 4th inning. He was the first one up into the 2nd deck. That would put the A's on the board.
To center. Good read by Outman. He'll make the catch. Through 7 innings, the green and gold lead by 4.
The sounds of Paramore, Green Day, Blink 182, and more will fill the ballpark during our Pop Punk Fireworks Show presented by UBO Services. After the A's take on the Dodgers this Saturday, August 3rd, you can sit on the outfield grass to rock out during the dazzling Sky High Show featuring pop punk music. Due to dual events happening at the Oakland Arena, we strongly suggest taking public transportation to the ballgame. You can get your tickets at athletics.com/fireworks.
6-2 the score here now in the 8th inning, and a little bit of a wild one from the new man on the mound. It's the fireballer Michel Otañez. 11th appearance with the A's. First time up in the big leagues. Well, with Dallas As you've seen this team take a new shape with Lucas Ursig being traded to the Royals, Mason Miller injured. Looks like Mark Kotsay is going to try and have to find guys that can pitch in the 8th and 9th, and with the stuff that Otañez has, upper 90s to 100 plus on his fastball, how do you experiment with a guy like Otañez and eventually a guy like Will Klein?
Well, that's the thing, is it's, I think, twofold. One, maybe it's an experiment, if you will. I think it's really just giving guys an opportunity to take over a role, take control of a role. So I think you could look at it from one perspective, which is what can Mark Kotsay do to find these guys? I think a different way to look at it is we'd love to see these guys show up and show Mark Kotsay.
Well, Otañez got the outside corner, maybe a little bit more than that. And Will Smith is giving an earful to the home plate umpire, Phil Cuzzy. He'll go down on strikes, and Otañez gets his first man.
Well, and Will Smith said that there's just no shot that that's a strike, and that's 98. A perfect pitcher's pitch, if you ask me. No chance, Phil. There's no chance that's a strike, is exactly what he said.
There's 98 blown right by Gavin Lux. Michel Otañez, a lot like Klein in that they throw hard, but sometimes they have command issues. Right now, Otañez getting ahead, finding the strike zone, maybe a favorable strike 3 call for the A's against Will Smith. But this is what you want to see from a guy like Michel Otañez.
Absolutely. We understand the velocity provides margin for error. So when you start getting into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, where you're looking for that right there, some swing and miss, whether it's 98, 99, just an inch or two off, or it's 85 to 90 with depth and vert. This right here, little slide piece, oddly enough, Gavin Lux swinging under. Maybe not quite the finish on the slider, but either way, Gavin Lux not able to get the bat to it.
Teoscar Hernandez up for a 4th time, and a slider got him out in front.
When you get swings like that, when you're a guy like Otañez, who has that big fastball that you have to contend with.
Teoscar Hernandez 2-run home run in the 1st inning is the only bit of runs the Dodgers have been able to score tonight. Since the 1st, it has been all A's. As Anthony Banda is warming up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. There's a strike. When you look at the Dodgers, how they used their pitchers so far, it would be the first lefty used by Dave Roberts. Ball and 2 strikes, 1 strike away from striking out the side in order for Michel Otañez. From the stretch, 1-2 pitch. 98 up top. Two. That's lined into right, a base hit for Hernandez. And the Dodgers will have a 2-out base runner, bringing up Ahmed Rosario.
The shortstop, number 27, Ahmed Rosario.
Well, this is just location. You can see ball up. Teoscar just doing a good job of letting the hands do the majority of the work there. See a quiet lower half, just trying to hit a ball where it's pitched. He got one up, he just kind of pushed over to the right side. Left-hander Scott Alexander now starting to loosen up. That'll bring Langoliers out. Have a little chit-chat with Otañez by the lefty a few pitches.
Ahmed Rosario picked up a bat in the top of the 7th inning when TJ McFarland started off the inning. Hit a softly grounded double down the 3rd base line, but could not be scored. At one point, the bases were loaded for Shohei Ohtani. There's a big slider and an even bigger swing from Rosario, 0-1.
There's Tyler Nevin. He's got a bat.
Could be for Seth Brown, who's due up. Right back up the middle. Geloff is there and will step on the second base bag. A great inning of relief from Michel Otañez. Toro, Brown, and Geloff coming up. This game summary is brought to you by Toyota. Well, the Dodgers had 2 runs in the first inning, then quiet ever since after a Teoscar Hernandez 2-run home run. 2 for 24 for the rest of the Dodgers hitting core. Gavin Stone bounced out early, went 4+ innings. And then Joey Estes on the other side. A phenomenal performance. Rooker, Langeliers, and Brown each homering in this game. 27 homers for Brent Rooker. Toro grounds to third. Hernandez loads up and fires to first for the first out. There's been a change again for Dave Roberts, and when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
Give me the lefty. Anthony Bandon now for Doc Roberts. Fireball and left-hander.
And as we suspected, Tyler Nevin will pick up a bat, the righty against the left-handed reliever. Bat in place of Seth Brown, who finishes the night 1 for 3 with his 10th home run of the year. That was a game-tying solo home run in the 4th after Langeliers opened up the scoring with a homer just 2 batters earlier.
Banda, one of the 2 lefties down there in the bullpen for Dave Roberts. Garcia, the other. Pretty good go this season for the left-hander.
So Tyler Nevin at the plate. Tyler Ferguson warming up in the bullpen. It's expected that he will take the 9th. Up at least 4 for the A's.
And it's maybe not something that you think about a lot or give a ton of stock to, but for Tyler Ferguson, whether it's a save opportunity or not, just the 9th inning, and I think against a team like the Dodgers, I think it sort of helps maybe get over the fact that it's not a save spot for a guy who's getting an opportunity to pitch in late leverage situations. I think it's nice to reward a guy who I think has answered the bell quite nicely.
Now 3 balls and 2 strikes for Nevin. He will chop it weakly. Charging is Hernandez. Bare hand diving throw, and Nevin beats it out. Kike Hernandez, a phenomenal effort, but Nevin had just enough speed to beat out a very athletic play by Kike.
Well, Kike trying to do everything he can to create an angle so he can barehand it, and from that low arm slot get it over there with enough on it to beat out a hustling Tyler Nevin down the line.
Zach Geloff, first pitch swinging and fouling it off. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts as well as a ground out. So Tyler Nevin does his job as the pinch hitter, getting aboard with just 1 out. Especially against a team like the Dodgers, more insurance is a good thing.
And you can never have enough, especially against the Dodgers.
Popped up and out of play.
Can you imagine the confidence that it can build for this club if you're able to Continue to tack on runs here against the Dodgers. Tells you you'll be able to do it against the starters. The bullpen really take a chip off of everyone. Gelof down on strikes. Well, if you didn't come out for Treehouse Happy Hour tonight, there is still time this season to join us. You can come out to the Giants ball game. We got the Yankee series ahead. Before each Friday night home game, you can enjoy drink specials, games, a DJ. We got a whole lot going on out here for you, and fans can enter the Treehouse through L Gate before all ballpark gates open to join the fun. Visit athletics.com/happy hour to learn more about it.
It's a great point that you made, Dallas, about the confidence this can build. You know, it is the Dodgers. They are a World Series contender. And I think it proves to these young guys building for the future that they can go toe-to-toe with teams like this even right now.
That's it. Whether you feel or some folks around you feel like this is a bit of an early arrival in terms of talent, I know they don't feel that way. They feel like they're getting better each and every day. And why wouldn't we be able to compete against this team?
Max Schumann, Heart and Hustle Award. Many congratulations are in order. Has exemplified those two words this year for the A's. He's behind at 1-2 and will foul one off. I mean, for a guy like Schumann, throughout his career in the minors, never an everyday guy, then puts it together at the big league level and has been an above average offensive and defensive shortstop for a team that's needed it, is incredible.
A lot of times we talk about the presence of a closer and what that does for a bullpen. Just the presence of knowing that you can account for those 3 outs. Well, having a guy play that premium defensive position the way that he has and deliver the way he has in the 9 spot, there's just not much more you can ask.
A man who's had to scratch and claw for every opportunity that he has gotten. He has opened a lot of eyes. 1-2, chopped to short. Rosario will go to second, and that will retire the side. A's lead 6-2, trying to win it in the 9th with Tyler Ferguson.
Time now for the T-Mobile coverage cam, and it has been a night full of pop off the bats of the green and gold. Shea Langeliers would get things started. First long ball of the night. He'd be followed up by Seth Brown. And you know what happens when Rook's in the kitchen. You just let Rook cook. And he sure did. Another big long ball. Another night of power.
The home runs have been a very big point of emphasis on this broadcast. You can see almost 17% of all hits for the A's have been home runs. Earlier we talked about Langeliers. 30% of all of his hits have been home runs. Without the long ball, the A's offense would look a little different. So Cavan Biggio is up. Tyler Ferguson with the A's up 4. They'll try and close out this game and bring the A's another winning result.
Well, Fergie quickly ahead 0-2. Tyler Nevin in over to play first base.
Oh, and 2 strikes to Cavan Biggio. So for through the pop out, 2 strikeouts. Make that 3 strikeouts. Good start for Tyler Ferguson. 1 down, 2 more to go in the top of the 9th.
Well, Fergie ahead quickly and just sticks with that fastball. This time put a little run on it. See that ball just take off.
Lined into left field on Duhar. Good read on it. Hernandez will take a hard turnaround first. That skipped away from Schumann, but not enough to advance Kike Hernandez into second. A one-out base hit. Andy Pages is coming up for a second time.
Little slider. Kike able to get around on. Kike always aggressive. I think always looking to force the issue. Knowing that run doesn't mean much, he'll head back to first, keep the line moving.
Pages struck out against Austin Adams. Now takes one inside, a ball and no strikes. Great experience for Michel Otañez in the 8th, and now here for Ferguson, both rookies in high leverage situations against a team that I think many will predict at least going to the National League Championship Series, if not the World Series, in the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yep.
In the air to left on Duhar. Makes the catch in the alley. Well, the next two games hopefully are a lot of fun. A great pitching matchup tomorrow. Jack Flaherty will take the ball for the Dodgers, and Mitch Spence on the other side for the A's. River Ryan on Sunday for Los Angeles, and Osvaldo Bido for the A's. So another evening game tomorrow, and then an afternoon finisher against Los Angeles on Sunday. A's fans on their feet as James Outman takes strike one.
I tell you, Ferguson just looks completely unbothered by the idea of a 9th inning. The Dodgers, doesn't matter. He is dotting it up right now.
Doesn't want to face Ohtani. I don't blame him. Ball and a strike, but another great thing to look at. Mostly due to the efforts of Joey Estes. He held Ohtani at 0 for 3, and then Adams got Ohtani to ground out, so an 0 for 4 night so far for Shohei Ohtani. And the A's now one strike away from claiming a series opening victory.
Pretty good recipe for success, Chris. You keep an NL MVP off the base path.
One, two. He's down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One strike away. 2-2 pitch. And Outman fights one off to stay alive. Set at the belt from the stretch. Now at the chest. 2-2. Outside. This will put Kike Hernandez in motion. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Payoff pitch. Fouled off. Inside, and Tyler Ferguson and the A's will see Shohei Ohtani. The one positive, though, is that the most that he can do is bring this game within 1.
He could hit it 2 miles, and it wouldn't change the game's outcome right now. Down by 1, You obviously do not want that to happen.
Gotta think if you're Tyler Ferguson, you just want to put it over the plate and make Ohtani put it in play. Don't want to walk him to bring up Will Smith with a bases loaded situation. That's a good pitch, a good cutter, and a healthy hack from Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, Ohtani just looking to spin on this. You can see that front hip open up right there, just over top.
Oh my goodness. Ohtani has made it a one-run game. 33rd home run of the year, 116 miles per hour off the bat. And this Los Angeles Dodgers crowd got what they were looking for. A mistake pitch by Tyler Ferguson, and the best player on the planet made it pay.
Shohei Ohtani all over the leaderboard when we talk about exit velocity, home run distance. I mean, this is 93 up, and Ohtani clobbers it. And he knew it right off the bat. I mean, just such a threat, such a weapon.
So both Ohtani and Rooker have 79 RBIs on the season now. And it's Ferguson against Smith in a much tighter situation. Down low, 2 balls and no strikes. You can hear the two fan bases exchanging their chants. You hear, "Let's go Oakland, let's go Dodgers." And Ferguson gets a strike to make it 2-1.
It feels like Will Smith may have thought that might be the best pitch he gets to hit this at bat.
Ground ball to short. Schumann gets it. Throw to first. And the A's outlast the Dodgers in game 1 of this series. Shohei Ohtani, some late drama. His 33rd home run of the year. Made it a 1-run game. Tyler Ferguson responds with a ground ball out against Will Smith. And the A's have a winner to open up this homestand.
Well, it was a great job by Joey Estes to take the ball back in the starting role. 6 strong innings for the right-hander. And once again, Chris, this A's offense, the power from the bats of this A's offense just proved to be a little too much for Shohei Ohtani's late surge and the rest of that Dodger lineup.
The A's start off August hot and hand the Dodgers their 5th loss of their road trip. It's been a wonderful night, and it will continue with the Toyota A's post-game live, which starts right now.